Hello Aquarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we start off with a Four of Pentacles. This is earthly power, right? This is the feeling that we have control over our domain. Okay, and so I feel like right now your home is very important to you. Having this feeling of some sort of a headquarters is important to you. And it almost feels like we know that when things get really, really tough, I can always go back here and recharge and get my strength and find comfort and find solace, right? And it's maybe the fortress of solitude, right? And it could be anything. It could be our car, it could be our house, our bedroom, it could be a temple, it could be a church, it could be our family home, right? It literally could be anything, but it's a power spot for you. This is a place of power. It could be somewhere out in the wilderness. It could be a particular beach, a particular park. It could be a tree somewhere in your yard or whatever. It's that power spot. It's that place where we can go. And we know that we are going to be restored. We know that we are going to be able to calm down and relax and recuperate or whatever we need at the time. Okay. So I feel like you're somebody who is really involved in a very serious kind of, maybe battle, a serious endeavor in your life, serious quest, yeah. And we need these kinds of power spots in our lives where we can just kind of come in from all of the hustle of life and be restored, okay. This is also a card that says you have a lot of resources right now. So I feel like you're somebody who has, you've got good management skills. Like I think you're probably somebody who is like in charge of others, you know. You're like a supervisor or a manager or a lead or a business owner even. Something to where you're responsible for the distribution of things, you're responsible for making the schedule, or you're responsible for accounts payable, receivable, you know, that kind of thing. I almost kind of feel like you're the treasurer of something. I don't know, maybe it's a homeowners association or something, but I kind of feel like you're responsible for the well-being of others in that very practical way. You're the one that's like, you know, making sure that the cupboards are stocked with food, everybody has enough to eat, that sort of thing, right? And I feel like this is very important to you in a practical way, and then it also has that kind of interior spiritual component where you like to know that there's a place for you to go where you can kind of be restored, where there is that energy that's there for you. And I feel like for you, it's kind of like a solitary thing. It's kind of as if you need to withdraw a little bit sometimes in order to have that kind of rest and restoration. I feel like when you're sick, you don't like to be around a lot of people when you're sick, right? You're somebody that kind of goes into a cave and hides when they don't feel well. And then when you feel better, here you come full strength again, you know. So I feel like you don't really want people to ever see you at your worst, yeah. That it's kind of a solitary thing, and that part of your support system, part of your loved ones around you, part of what they can do for you really is to leave you alone when you need to be alone, yeah. And I think that's an important part of your strength, yeah, your earthly power. I feel for some reason that you heal from injuries faster than other people. You know, like you get a scar or something and it's like gone or you get a cut or something and it's like it's gone the next day or whatever. Like I feel like you regenerate a lot faster. Maybe it's through training. Maybe you've just been to the gym so many times that now you don't get sore anymore. But I feel like there's something interesting about you, like in that kind of physical, regenerative way, right? That's the feeling I'm getting anyway. But let's put some more cards out on the table and see what's going on here. Look at that. We've got the 4 elements. Now we've got the 5th element of spirit. That is amazing. That's a sunrise there. This, I think, is reminding us not to isolate too much. Sometimes the 4 of Pentacles can really be that kind of isolation where we start to enjoy it in here so much that we don't want to ever go outside again. But look, outside is the sun. Outside is a lot of freedom. Outside is a lot of enjoyment. We could be talking about a reprioritizing of life right now. I think that something is changing. I think that there is a dawning of some sort of clarity or realization happening for you right now. And it might be that we're figuring out a different direction to take. It might be that we're discovering the deeper meaning of things. You know, maybe we like to do things a certain way. I think with the 4 of Pentacles, you're also somebody that has maybe a pretty well-established routine in your life. And the Sun card is maybe showing us like the deeper meaning, maybe of why I prefer things the way I do, and how much richer my life could be if I were to maybe branch out from that a little bit. Okay? The Sun card is really, it's about the wholeness, the fullness of life. And we realize that any one particular thing we're doing is just one ray of light coming off of that. I feel like you are maybe experiencing something, or you will be experiencing something that's going to bring you out of your routine, right? I don't want to say a rut. I don't want to say your shell. I just want to say, like, it just feels like it feels like you're kind of a person of habit lately. You know, that you have the things you like, you have the things that you do, you've got your schedule, you've got your routine, there's a lot of activity, and then there's just this time of recuperation, and there's more activity, and it just seems like it's very consistent. It's very familiar, very comfortable. This is something that is kind of, I don't know, it's exposing you more. It's you really just kind of being out in, you know, in the middle of the desert or the middle of the ocean somewhere, and it's just like you're just out there. You know, and there's nothing really familiar. There's nothing routine about it. And really, from the point of view of the sun, we think of the little 4 of Pentacles down there, and it's really, from this height, it really looks like just a little speck of dust on the ground there. So I think your life is becoming broader. You know, I think you're getting this higher perception of what your life is, and things are being put into context a little bit more for you. Okay. I also feel that this is probably whatever physical role you have, whatever this is, if you're a lead or a manager or a supervisor here, I feel like there's a lot more success for you here. Maybe this is somebody who is, maybe you're like a lead or a supervisor. This is now saying you're going to be like really leveling up in that way. Okay. Or maybe even being put in charge of a lot greater wealth or a larger resource than what you're currently responsible for. Okay? This is really a huge gap in the perspective here. Okay? This is something that I can only see the 4 walls that are around me. This is, I can see the entire galaxy from here. Okay, so something is shifting for you. Something's changing in your general, I guess, understanding of your life. Here's the 10 of Pentacles now. Ooh, ooh, look at that. I like the 10 of Pentacles. This is wealth. Okay, this is the richness of life. This is, again, you kind of finding meaning in what you're doing, a deeper meaning. You're kind of, it's almost like you're here in this you're in your house and you think, boy, what a good house this is the nicest house I've ever been in. Then you see a little crack in the floor, you start digging, and you find that you're sitting on really like this gold mine, and your house is just just kind of been built on top of this. There's all this treasure underneath it. We never knew it was there, but here it all is right there. And I think the sun is giving us that perspective. And what this means, I think, in a practical and spiritual way, is that you're finding so many more things in your life that you care about, that you have a desire to fulfill. You're finding meaning in a lot more things. And so your life is really expanding. And that Four of Pentacles, now it's kind of, it's almost like we're taking the square and we're making it a circle. Now we're expanding it. You know, we like to kind of take the divine and manifest it on earth. We like to square the circle. I think you're circling the square, you know. I think you're taking the mundane or the earthly and you're turning it into the divine. You've discovered something that really just kind of just opens up your mind, your heart, your spirit in this way that you never were conceiving, you know. So I think that there's a lot more that you want in life. This is the picture of your best life. And I always ask you to get out a sheet of paper, get out your pencil, draw a picture of your best life. What is your ideal vision of the perfect life, best life, your ideal of wealth and success? What does it look like? Draw that picture. I feel like this sun energy, this illumination that's dawning for you is showing you a more complete picture of what has meaning for you, of what your best life really is. Yeah, I feel like your horizons are really expanding here. I feel like they're really widening. I feel like this is also a deep knowledge that you have, or a deep awareness that you have. And maybe it's just a matter of finding and recognizing this again, that you're meant for absolutely great things. That you can have this kind of infinite wealth in your life, that you can achieve your very best life picture, scenario, right? Whatever it is. We need to look at some more cards, but I think you're somebody that values very specific things, you know? And I think you know what it is that you value. And I think that the sun energy is illuminating these values for you, what wealth means to you. Maybe if you don't want to draw the picture, maybe you leave a comment for me. Tell me what wealth means to you, the word wealth. If you're a wealthy person, what does that mean? What do you have in your life that makes you feel wealthy, right? Money, sure, yeah, obvious one, right? Have our health, have our relationships, have intimate relationships, have a spiritual life, a spiritual practice, have something to take care of, have a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, right? I feel like Spirit is showing you all of these things and showing you not only that they are there in potential form, but that you can indeed manifest them. Go out and pursue these things again. They don't have to remain just the picture that we've sketched, right? We've got the Two of Wands in the past position, Mars in Aries. I kind of wonder if I kind of feel like you've retired from something, you know? I feel that your energy has already shifted once a while ago. I think maybe there was a time in your life where you were a little bit more hard, right? A little bit more of an authority, a little bit more of like a boss, you know? I don't want to say aggressive, but I feel like there was a time where you were a little bit more headstrong. What's the right word for that, right? I mean, it's kind of bossy, maybe, right? I feel like there was a time where you had to really fight for what you wanted. There was the struggle for you, a struggle for your own, maybe, autonomy, okay? And now that we've got this Four of Pentacles, it feels like that I want to just kind of stay here, and I'm done fighting like that. I'm done clashing with people in that way, okay? And maybe this was some like work things, but I feel like this was probably a lot of different areas in your life where you just felt that you had to fight for everything. Yeah, that it's like no matter which way you turn, there was always someone or something that was against you. Yeah, I feel like we're not there anymore. But I feel like this influence has turned us toward a more kind of peaceful, tranquil, maybe routine or rhythmic life. Maybe it's a rhythm here rather than a routine, right? Maybe we like to be in this routine. It's kind of predictable, but it's very comfortable. We're here, we're safe, we enjoy it, right? Maybe this was even a time where you didn't feel like you had a direction in life. You didn't feel like you had a home base or a headquarters. You didn't have that kind of safe place where you could go to recharge. This is something where everything was a fight, everything was a battle, and maybe there wasn't a lot of direction over here. But now there is just this very stable, there's safety, there's security, there's stability here in the 4. Maybe the sun is kind of showing you that, no, we don't want to go back to this. Maybe there's a different way. Let's see what's at the top. The builder, the Taurus energy, the Prince of Pentacles. You know that you have what it takes to build the kind of life you want. And I think that's a lot of power that's in this 4 of Pentacles already. You have the power to build this. And so maybe what you're doing is you're just kind of working now to maintain this 4 of Pentacles. But the sun is saying, hey, maybe you use your builder energy with a little bit of this fire and you expand this building. It's kind of like you're happy with just this 1-story, modest kind of business or building or home or whatever. And the 10 of Pentacles is saying, you're sitting on a gold mine. Why don't you expand your business? Why don't you expand your life? Why don't you find, rediscover all these things that you want in life, rediscover your vision of wealth, your picture of your best life, and build it. Get back on this building energy. 7 of Pentacles. Well, the reason I think why we're not doing that is because we don't see the benefit of it. There's no promise, there's no guarantee, there's no safety or security in a 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is kind of like, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm sitting on a gold mine, but I start mining the gold and I fail at it? Something happens, it doesn't work. What if I lose this? What if I take a risk on this gold mine and I end up losing my 4 of Pentacles and I'm right back here to this, having to fight for everything kind of energy? So we've got that worry with that 7 of Pentacles. Right? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here. Tiny Bob Ross right on top now. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us our confirmation. If you have a prediction, drop it in the comments. All right. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's totally free. It helps out the channel, and I really, really do appreciate that. We are almost at 250,000 subscribers. I know, it's crazy. Blows my mind. Maybe pretty soon we'll start talking about opening up private readings. We'll see. Maybe when we hit a certain milestone or something, I'll open that back up. I'm just so busy right now that I don't know that I really have the time to do that, but I feel the calling to do it. I really want to do it. It's just a matter of trying to rearrange some things, maybe after the summertime when things slow down a little bit around here in life generally. I can find some space to do maybe 1 or 2 of those a week or something like that, right? So I can't get to everybody, but at least there'll be something there, right? Anyway, path of the serpent general energy, the magician. See, the magician is the expert kind of business person, right? It's Hermes, Mercury. It's the Lord of commerce, the Lord of transaction. It's the creator of wealth. It's the figure that can just kind of produce money out of thin air, right? Always has a solution, always has the next best money-making scheme. But the thing with Mercury is that, it usually works, but there's always a catch, okay? There's always, there's always a bit of a trick in the trickster energy. So it could really be that you're getting everything that you wish for, but you got to be careful what you wish for. You can have this infinite wealth, but only if you know what that really means. So we really need this enlightenment of this sun card. And the sun, this solar energy is what is informing Mercury. So it's kind of like we've got to use our expertise, our cleverness. We've got to use our wit and our strategy, and we've got to scheme, and we've got to we've got to rub the magic lamp, and we've got to ask for what we want, and we've got to do it. But we have to be in charge. We have to have this clarity to know when Mercury's up to no good. We think of Apollo and Hermes, right? And Hermes is always trying to do some sneaky stuff, but Apollo knows. I know you stole the cows, that sort of thing. So we have to really keep an eye on this part of ourselves. And maybe these two kind of go hand in hand. Maybe at one time you were this really kind of cutthroat business person, and it didn't satisfy you, it didn't make you feel good, right? And so we don't want to go back to that again. But if we do invoke our magician, we want to make sure that there's some oversight, right? Literally, that we are keeping an eye on this, that we're allowing the spiritual energy to direct this. And so what that means is that if you have this magical ability to create any kind of reality that you want, you better make sure that you know what you want to create. Otherwise, if we create something that's not in line with our spiritual energy, it's going to backfire. And maybe that is the fear here with that Seven of Pentacles, that if I apply my Mercury energy to the wrong thing, it's going to end up biting me in the butt at some point, and I don't like that. So it gives us a little bit of reluctance to begin this thing. But I feel that with this Sun card here, this is a game changer, right? I think you're realizing that you are sitting on a gold mine of wealth, and what that means to you could very well be financial. But you've got to approach it in the right way. You got to keep a leash on Mercury here so that it doesn't kind of ruin things, right? And we don't want that. But what's the card of the environment? Emperor energy. Very good. That's kind of what we're talking about here. We've got over here Mars in Aries, right? This is kind of the energy that we don't want, or we had too much of it, or this was kind of just too much conflict, too much aggression over here. But now we've got the Sun and Aries. So rather than having Mars in Aries, which can be very destructive, it could be so much ambition that we end up destroying what we create, and we end up with a 7, right? We've destroyed what we've been trying to build. Rather than using the martial energy, we use the Aries energy. We use the solar energy in Aries, right? And that, I think, is much more holistic. It's much more guided by the divine force. It is aggressive and strong and powerful, and but it's also very magnanimous. It's also very forward thinking. It has a lot of forethought and foresight. And I think it's the right kind of energy to deal with this. Now, I feel like this is some sort of a business thing or a career thing, or it's kind of like, getting back to that career that really has this potential to level up your life in this kind of, extraordinary ways. But we have to be willing to invoke this Emperor energy and take this out into the world with us. This is in the position of the environment. So your Emperor energy in the environment is kind of like going out and being the boss. Going out and projecting this energy of success and confidence and this assertiveness, but this certainty. This certainty of knowing what you want and knowing that you're going to be successful, even if we've got a little bit of this worry about the Seven of Pentacles, and we got to keep a close eye on the Magician here. The Magician's very good at this sleight of hand. You may think you're getting a gold piece, but it's hollow, right? It's empty. You've been tricked. We've got to watch out for that. We need to project this energy, this Emperor energy. And this, again, the Emperor is the one that has to know what everything in the realm is doing, what every department is up to. Okay? So it's kind of like it's your responsibility, but it's going to be your reward as well. And I kind of feel that, this is us kind of, we're putting the clothes back on, and we're getting back out there, and I'm just going to do it. Right? This could really be that we've taken a bit of a break. I kind of feel like we've almost gone hermit mode a little bit. It reminds me of is this is a trope in shows like Dexter, movies like I don't know if it was Red Dragon, one of the Hannibal movies. and I think also in the Hannibal TV show, one of my favorite TV shows, by the way. The trope of the kind of superhero, and Superman obviously too, right? The superhero that then decides to withdraw from that role and goes kind of hermit mode. And you see Dexter in, I don't know, wherever, Alaska or Will Graham or something out in the middle of nowhere, just living a very simple, solitary kind of life. I don't want to go back and be part of that. Nope. You can't force me to go back there. I'm just living this kind of simple life here. I feel like Spirit is kind of like Jack Crawford coming over to Will Graham and saying, "We need you. You got to come back to wherever they were. I can't remember, Baltimore or something. And you've got to re-engage with this thing." Okay, because I feel like you're the only one that can do this. Obviously, this is what you're sitting on. This is within you. All this potential to create this best life. But I feel like we've kind of settled for this safety and simplicity here. And I mean, that sounds good to me, right? But I think there's so much more that you want in life. But we've got to activate that Emperor. But what's the obstacle? Princess of Swords. The obstacle is, maybe time. Maybe we've been kind of out of the game for a while, right? And so we feel that when we get back to it, that there's just so much now, so much I don't know, right? There's so much I have to relearn. Okay, I feel like there's an intellectual resistance to all of this. Yeah. And this is the first Swords card that we have. This is really the first air energy that we have. So this is like, the only thing that we have to overcome is a little bit of that doubt. The only thing we're worried about is worrying. The only thing we fear is fear, right? The fear of this one, the fear of failure. So it's kind of like the only thing we're worried about is that I'm just going to start doubting myself, that I'm going to start having some second thoughts and really a lack of this kind of, I don't know, almost mental or intellectual confidence. With all this, we have a lot of major arcana, a lot of fire, a lot of earth, right? A lot of earth, a lot of fire, a lot of all this major spiritual energy. We have a lot of momentum, and then suddenly the mind comes in and says, "I don't know if I can do it." So this is the mind really just kind of interfering. This is the mind that just throws a wrench in the spokes, or whatever, stick in the spokes, just throws a wrench in the machine to stop everything, sabotage everything, break everything down just because I didn't hear what you said. I wasn't here for the meeting. Can we talk about it a little bit more? This is the same thing, when you're riding a bike or you're playing an instrument or you're walking a tightrope or doing something like that, right? You're just in the zone. You're just doing it. There's a flow. There's a momentum. As soon as you start consciously thinking about it, you fall, right? As soon as the mind kicks in and starts trying to figure out what's going on, we lose that concentrate. We lose that heightened kind of spiritual experience of the thing. And anybody who's ever been in any kind of meditation knows what I'm talking about. As soon as the conscious mind says, "Hey, I'm doing it," that's when you fall down, right? And that's the only obstacle. The only obstacle is thought itself. Yeah. What is the final outcome here? Three of Pentacles. The potential here. See, now we got a little bit more of that Mars energy. But now I feel like the Mars energy is devoted to now this builder. So we've still got this force and fire of the Two of Wands, but I think it's being channeled into something creative. It's being channeled now into this constructive building up energy rather than maybe what before has torn down or has threatened to tear down, right? And I'm still thinking Will Graham and Hannibal, a very good show. I wish they would make another season. But the Three of Pentacles is really work. This is us getting the ball rolling. This is something now that we're in it. We're starting to do it. Things are progressing. Okay, that we've got the machine started up again. We got the DeLorean out of the garage, and the engine is humming. It's ready to go, right? And this is also your awareness of what it's going to take. You've got to be all in, right? We have to overcome this little bit of doubt because we need every part of our being on board for this if we're going to manifest this best life. Okay, so this is cooperation between your internal components as well as people around you. And speaking of people around you, the emperor in the environment, you've got to be the leader. You've got to be able to rally people. You ever have somebody come and try to sell you something, or try to recruit you to something, or try to say, hey, I want you to come be on my team, but you're in this conversation and they seem kind of unsure of things, that they're not really that confident. It's like, if you don't like this car, why am I going to buy it? If you're kind of like, if you're wavering, if you seem timid and unsure, you're not inspiring confidence in other people. So even if you're feeling a little bit of the Princess of Swords, you got to be the Emperor, right? You got to fake it a little bit, unfortunately. But you have to project this air of confidence in order to get other people to be on board, It's, an episode of The Office, right? I always bring up The Office, when Michael Scott goes to start his own paper company. And he's trying to recruit people to come with him. And Pam gets inspired by his little speech and his spiel. And she goes with him. And she was just caught up in the moment. And then eventually she realizes, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's not confident. How can I be confident, right? And so that's kind of what I'm reminded of. But we have to believe in ourselves in order for anyone else to believe in us. And we've got to have almost a foregone conclusion. We have to have that certainty that we are going to achieve whatever this is. And if we believe that with all of our being, then we will achieve that, But it's difficult not to let in that little draft of doubt, right? And it will always get in. But that's part of the battle. That's why this card is where it is in the reading. But let's look at the mystery card. What is this going to be? Well, Aquarius, I say this every time. It's going to be the Star card. Right? That's all I want for you, is that kind of certainty, that kind of spiritual truth, that kind of illumination where you do believe that this is going to happen, right? So if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. I'm thinking Star all the way. Oh my God, it is. Look at that. Yes. Because this is the illumination, right? What is the star but another sun, right? So this is now the inner illumination. This is the sun card that's showing you who you are and what you're capable of, shedding light on what you value, what you want in life, and what kind of life potential you are looking to manifest, right? And then the star card also shows you the path forward. So first we have to have the inner illumination, and then we let that light shine down on the ground in front of us and show us where to walk. Yeah, this is great. This is perfect. This is your destiny. This is your fate. And I think that part of what this is on the hero's journey. You've had the call to your adventure, to your fate, but maybe we've left the path. Maybe we've tried to ignore the call to adventure. And maybe we've said no for now. It's Will Graham saying no to Jack Crawford. No, I'm not going to go and do this kind of work over there and all that stuff. And I'm just going to be here in this simple life fixing boat engines or whatever. And same thing with Dexter, right? But that's kind of a rejection of the destiny. That's us trying to ignore the call to action, ignore the call to our adventure. Eventually, I think you're going to come to realize that this is the only path for you. And however it manifests for you, I think it is going to be absolutely amazing. What a surprise ending. This is really, really nice. We're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Aquarius every Thursday and Sunday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, especially if you're a new viewer. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you'll become part of the family and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, shout out that you're new, and maybe where you're from or anything like that. We would love to hear from you. Everybody is welcome. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.